Happy Saturday, Facebook community, and hope you're all doing well. This is Courtney Harris with Courtney Harris Coaching, and I'm a child-centered and teen life coach. So today I'm going to talk about 6 different questions that parents can ask themselves if they're considering hiring a coach. Or these are 6 great questions that any parent can ask themselves to do a check-in, to reflect, and to think about where they are right now in their relationship to parenting and in their relationship to their teen or tween particularly. So I'll go ahead and start off with the first question that I have for you all today, and that question is, am I stuck having the same struggle or conflict with my teen over and over again? So this is a really important one because if we are stuck in the same habits and the same struggles, it's inevitable that we'll become exhausted. We might become frustrated, we might become angry, and we might even start to lose hope. Now, of course, all of those things on a day-to-day basis, or all of those things we might actually feel once in a while. Those are normal emotions. So, of course, if you have a frustrating day, that doesn't automatically mean that the struggle is very deep. However, if we're stuck in this pattern, and if it's something over and over again that we're having the same struggle, we're complaining about it to our partner, we're complaining about it to our girlfriends, we're complaining about it, to our support system, and things are not changing, then we're stuck. And that's where the loss of hope or the frustration and anger can really come into place. So again, that first question is, am I stuck having the same struggle or conflict with my teen over and over again? The second question is, am I feeling at a loss about what to try next, and am I out of ideas or resources? So if what you've tried isn't working, if you've read different books, if you've tried different techniques, you've read several different blogs, and you're trying different strategies, but it's still not working, it's time to look for something new. It's time for some new tools, new resources. So oftentimes we think that we're trying something new, but we're continuing to go back to the same habit. So even if we are looking for resources, there's sometimes this tendency to go back into that negative pattern, or just perhaps our default pattern and what has come natural, or maybe even the pattern that we saw with our own parents. That might be our default pattern. If we grew up a certain way, if our childhood was a certain way, we might default to doing the same type of parenting. And so even if it's not working, we might be defaulting to it. So again, that question is, am I feeling at a loss about what to try next? Am I out of ideas and resources? So this one also taps into the fact that sometimes we don't know what to try next. We're out of ideas, and that can start to feel really overwhelming. It's a place of when we don't know what to do next and we can't even envision that or come up with a plan, then we might be stuck in overwhelm. The third question I have is, am I overwhelmed? Do I feel like I'm just putting out fires? And am I stuck in survival mode? Okay, so this one is all about, are we just struggling to survive the everyday? Because if we're struggling and we're just looking for surviving, we're certainly not thriving. And the goal that we all have for ourselves, the goal that I have for all of you as parents and supporters, is to thrive, to not just survive. So we don't want to just be making it by and, just waking up each day hoping that we can make it through this one. We want to be thriving and waking up every day with a sense of feeling refreshed, renewed, ready to take on the day, and not just kind of crossing our fingers and hope that we can survive. So this third question is, am I overwhelmed? Do I feel like I'm just putting out fires? And am I stuck in survival mode? This one comes up a lot for me because I hear a lot of parents talking about putting out fires, so they're just managing schedules, managing eating, managing getting kids to bed on time, managing getting a couple minutes to kind of check in with their partner. So there's this kind of rush, barely managing. Another child's crying, another need is over here in this room, right? So this kind of constant not being able to keep up and barely managing. That's where this question is coming from. The fourth question is, Am I feeling alone, unsupported, disrespected, or beaten down by the family dynamics or my teen's behavior? So sometimes this comes into play if the partners are not on the same page, or perhaps if you're a single parent and you don't have a partner, you might feel alone. Or if the family dynamics are becoming, if there's a lot of conflict or a lot of agitation in the family, then we might start to feel disrespected and beaten down. And then also, there sometimes is the true disrespect that we're feeling from either our partner or from our young person, from our teen or tween. And so if we're feeling that sense of beaten down and disrespect and unsupported, again, we're not going to be thriving. We're just surviving, barely making it by. And so if we are stuck in these negative thought patterns and these negative, perhaps emotional history patterns with our family members, making change can be very difficult, and we might not know where to go from here. So those are my first 4 self-reflection questions to think about your daily life as a parent right now and check in with those. And the next 2 are really going to hit on the element of coaching that is what I love so much about it, the growth and the transformation element. So question 5 that I have for you is, am I ready to make intentional growth and change? So if you're considering working with a coach, you have to know that change is uncomfortable. Sometimes change is even more uncomfortable than the hurt or the struggle that we're currently in. So even though we might be complaining every day and we're so tired of the routines that we're in with our child, it still might be scarier to ask for help. It still might be scarier to know that we need to make change. It still might be scarier that we're going to guide and ask our teen to be making changes as well. So change is uncomfortable. Change does take a lot of hard work. And what I talk about a lot is making intentional time and space. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen quickly. And it takes space. And that's where I use this word intentional a lot. So creating intentional space means actually setting aside time to work on this, actually setting aside in your schedule time to work with a coach. These are commitments. And so if you're considering working with a coach, please know that it's not a quick fix, and it's also something that is going to be hard work and uncomfortable work. But if you're ready for it, the growth and the transformation is yours to create. Question 6. Am I ready for a new challenge? Do I want to work to create purposeful change and get out of resistance and into new patterns of acceptance? So again, this one is really about, am I ready to take my family to the next level? Am I ready to take my connection with my teen to the next level? And am I ready to co-create with my family? So sometimes parents might be carrying the weight of their family on their shoulders alone. But when we step into the space with coaching and when we start to make intentional time or intentional change, it's going to require releasing responsibility. So sometimes we have to actually release responsibility to our teens and tweens and to our children. We have to let go of some of that for ourselves so that they can build their self-agency and their self-empowerment. We may not be as much in control, but over time, that's where we'll see the true growth and transformation. So with this one, am I ready for a new challenge to create purposeful change, get out of resistance and into new patterns? There is an idea of sharing responsibility and co-creating with your other family members. And again, this is uncomfortable. It may not be our default, but if you are ready for transformation, if you are ready to make big change, then considering the coaching relationship, the answer would be yes, that you are ready for a coaching relationship. You are ready to ask for help in a new way. So these are my top 6 questions that parents can consider. And they're questions that you can use regularly to stop and self-reflect and see how things are going for you in relation to your relationship to parenting itself, and in relationship to your teen, or even relationship to your partner. And so if you are considering having a parenting coach or a child-centered and teen life coach like myself, these are great questions to ask yourself as you discern that. So I'd love for you to comment below. What are some other questions that you ask yourself, other questions that you use to check in and self-reflect? And if you have any questions for me about my work and what I do as a child-centered and teen life coach, you can also comment with those below. I can't wait to talk with you all more. This is day 20 of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge, and I am so excited that I have 10 more days to share with you and 10 more days to be in touch. So I appreciate all the activity and all of the engagement I've had from you, my friends, and so just keep it coming. Keep your questions coming, and I can't wait to talk with you all tomorrow. Take care and have a great weekend.